Hey everyone, I'm Lucy.
And I'm Tamoor.
And we are here with a spoiler-free review of Black Mirror Season 4. It's going to drop on Netflix later this month.
Soon.
But basically, the TLDR of our review is get hyped.
It's very good.
It's very good.
And also very sad.
Yeah, harrowing is a word I would use.
Yeah.
But please make sure to like this video and subscribe to GameSpot Universe. We're going to be breaking down every single episode of the new season. There are a ton of things you should be looking out for in those episodes, so make sure you subscribe. We've also ranked every episode of Black Mirror so far, that's seasons 1 to 3, so make sure you get in that comment section, see if you agree or disagree with what ended up as our #1. And of course we have ongoing coverage of Star Wars The Last Jedi and Rick and Morty.
Wubba dubba lubba dub. It's one of those. It's either lubba or dubba.
Enough of that. Let's get into Black Mirror Season 4. So the first episode is Archangel, directed by Jodie Foster.
Came out of the panic room to direct one episode of Black Mirror.
That was an excellent reference.
Like that.
Very good. It's basically the story of a mother and a daughter, told over a period of time. You know, you watch the daughter kind of grow up, but also in Black Mirror fare, usual Black Mirror fare, there is a piece of technology that is central to this episode, and it's a sophisticated, I guess, monitoring surveillance type piece of technology.
Yeah. Like all good technology featured in Black Mirror, it's an extension of something that we have, and writer Charlie Brooker and his various co-collaborators have done what they always do and taken it to the horrifying extreme of, in the future, when this is kind of spiraled out of control, what is the impact it could have on our life? And it's both positive and negative.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, it's a very, I would say, like, out of season 4, it's a very standard episode of Black Mirror. Not to say that it's not excellent, because it very much is, and it plays out, you know, you can tell they were inspired by like indie movies and the way that it's shot and filmed. It's very thought-provoking. Yeah. And it also features maybe one of the most uncomfortable scenes I've ever watched. I mean, it physically made me kind of go, oh God, no.
Yeah, and it's something that, again, a lot of people will relate to. There's a lot of relatable parts. That's what, when you say it's a standard episode, that is 100% correct. But it's good because it's standard, because it's also very relatable. It's a scenario which is something that I can see happening in my lifetime. And because of that, the idea, and because it's not like, it doesn't have a shock and awe factor to it, like many of the previous episodes and other episodes in this season do, it's something that you can think about, something normal that's just twisted slightly, that it will reflect on you, and it kind of horrifies you in the way that it can play out if it goes to the furthest extreme.
I think, especially considering where the rest of the season goes, Archangel is a very gradual way of easing you into this season of Black Mirror, and it's very, very good.
Yeah, it's poignant.
It's poignant. Well, let's talk about USS Callister.
So the next episode is USS Callister, which you may not have known this, but it's actually a reference to Kevin McAllister from Home Alone.
Is it?
Is that believable?
No,
I made
that's
that up.
McAllister. Yeah. But as you can tell from the trailer, USS Callister is obviously a send-up of Star Trek. And as a big Trekkie, I've really enjoyed this episode, especially
as a massive nerd.
Listen, I grew up with Star Trek, the original series, and honestly, if you're a fan, there is a lot you will enjoy in there. It is a perfect kind of homage to it. The trailer, I mean, the whole of this season, not much has been given away by trailers, and we are absolutely not going to give away much about USS Callister. Aside from the fact that it's probably the funniest episode.
Yeah, it's very, very funny. There's like a snippet of humor in there, and that plays out at various points throughout the episode. But that's not to say that it isn't very much Black Mirror, because it's always going to be Black Mirror at the end of the day, and although we're not going to talk too much about it, it has that same kind of feel and those harrowing moments of a Black Mirror episode, but it just presents it in a very unique and different way, which I really, really appreciated.
USS Callister also has probably the most high-profile cast of this season of Black Mirror. So you've got Jesse Plemons, who was in season 2 of Fargo. You have Kristen Milioti, who was in also Fargo, The Wolf of Wall Street, and I think she played the mother in How I Met Your Mother. Spoilers if you didn't get to the end of that
That's
season.
where I know her from.
Yeah.
Ah.
And Jimmy Simpson, who's, you know, from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Westworld, House of Cards. They all really come into their roles very,
Yeah.
very well. And
There's a really good dynamic between them as well. That is, it strengthens the kind of Star Trek angle of it because they get on so well, and you can tell that even in the situations that unfold on the USS Callister, they are still like there's dynamism between them that's very, very like appreciated and enjoyable to watch more than anything.
Crocodile is the episode that people are going to be talking about.
This is the episode that broke me a little bit.
Yep. For some reason, I watched this one first, which was a mistake.
Yeah, this is the one that is going to generate all the Twitter buzz. It's going to be on Facebook. It's going to have people tearing their hair out and just wondering why they do this themselves. That's what happened to me. I watched it and I was like, why do I watch this show? It makes me feel awful. But then at the same time, there's a lot of, as with every episode, there's a meaning there and there's a lesson to be learned from the crocodile. And it's not, don't eat humans when they get close to water.
So basically, the crux of this story is that the character...
The crux of this story.
Oh my gosh. I'm not saying it again because you'll make that joke again, but this story is all about a character named Mia who has something terrible in her past that kind of comes back to haunt her, and at the same time, the piece of technology referenced in this episode is, it's called a recaller, and it can basically access your...
raw impressions.
Yeah, so if you think about it, the human brain takes all of these sensory inputs and uses previous learnings to kind of create a memory or an understanding of what's happening around them. This machine can plug into you and read all of this and
access all that information.
And other people can view it.
I think of it as like the live photos from an iPhone.
Oh, that's actually quite good.
When you take a picture now, it takes like 5 seconds of it, and when you watch it back, it'll play through. So imagine if someone had access to all your live photos.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
But the thing about this episode is it's a thriller, and the way that the tension builds is done incredibly. And honestly, by the end of the episode, I was kind of on the edge of my seat going, no, my God, this can't be happening. It's very good, and I feel like someone needs to give Charlie Brooker a hug.
Yeah, give that man a hug. It also evokes a lot of like, it reminded me for some reason of watching Let the Right One In, I think it's called, because it's filmed in Iceland, if I remember correctly. So it has this really like isolated feel to it, and this like stark, and it's very like, it's one of those, the way they present it is so good because like snow everywhere. And I felt cold watching it. Yes. Like it's one of those like the atmosphere of it and the mood of it completely envelops you and sucks you in, which is why when the harrowing things that happen in that episode happen, it like affects you all the more poignantly and more intensely. I felt like I was there and I was experiencing that stuff myself. And like again, as we say with every episode, it's a reminder that we want to be careful with technology. Maybe some things should just be left in the brain.
I honestly think that despite how bad it made me feel and how harrowing it is, it's honestly one of the best episodes of Black Mirror. Man, I can't wait for the discussions about this to be out there because obviously we don't want to spoil anything from it. Yeah. It is incredible.
Of all the episodes, this is the one you point to and say, this is why Black Mirror exists. Like this is what it perfectly encapsulates what that series is trying to do. Yeah. And I hate it so much.
Hang the DJ!
Is what I do whenever the DJ won't stop playing The Killers at the club.
Why are you at the club?
Put them in the bin!
Hang the DJ is the Tinder episode of Black Mirror. Come on, we all knew it was gonna happen. Yeah. Instead of it being like a regular dating app as we know it, it's the sophisticated program that kind of pre-picks a partner for you and sets up relationships for you, and it's a sophisticated system that learns from you when you're in the relationship and uses that information to pick a different partner for you.
So it's kind of like whittling down your preferred or ideal partner until it has enough information to give you that perfect partner.
Perfect match.
And the difficulty in that is like it's doing it constantly. You don't get a break from it.
You also don't get a say in it.
Yeah. So all those people that are like, man, I wish I could match with someone more often. Maybe you shouldn't wish that, because if this is any indication, it's not always a good thing.
It's also quite interesting the way that the program itself is rationalized, in that we currently live in a world where we have so much choice, and there's like choice paralysis, right? And especially if you download something like Tinder, there are potentially thousands, millions of people out there that you could match with, that you could date, that you could have a relationship with. This program gets rid of all that, and it kind of provides like a safe environment for you. It provides this environment where you don't have to make any of the tough decisions, you don't have to make the first move or anything. This program does it all. So
the difficulty in that is it's a program that doesn't factor in how your emotions change on a date-to-date basis. So you might meet someone that perhaps, you know, the program thinks is a limited time, but you're like, man, I really like this person. I want to hang on for a bit longer.
I'm a DJ.
It's like real life, isn't it? It's the worst.
I really like this episode. It gets to, like, Charlie Brooker clearly just understands the pitfalls of modern dating, and he perfectly does this commentary on it, and the resulting episode is one of my highlights of this season, honestly.
Charlie Brooker still needs a hug.
He absolutely needs a hug.
Definitely needs a hug. So the next episode, Metalhead, is not about speed metal fans. It's about something else entirely. And it leans much harder into the horror theme in that it's in its presentation, in its music, in its the way it's kind of like delivered. Even the central idea is quite upsetting, but it's full of kind of homages to that genre as well. So as a huge Shining fan, you were non-stop screaming about, oh, this is The Shining! And I was like, shut up! Listen,
no, so I mean, if you are like a big horror film buff, you will find so many things to love in this episode, because it's clearly like one lovely big homage to the genre.
Get your Hitchcocks out for the lads.
Things like The Birds, Psycho, they all have references. The Shining, it might not look like it from the outset. The Shining clearly played a big role in this. I mean, the music in particular, you know, you've got those big booming brass, you've got the violins, the strings when things get really serious and scary. It's a very good episode. It's very, also because it's in black and white, and it's mostly focusing on, you know, this one peril, this one journey that this character's going through. Again, don't want to say too much, but like, it's a very focused episode, and it's very, very tense.
Yeah, and it does the kind of like ebb and flow between tension and outright like thriller horror style thing very, very well. It goes back and forth constantly. So it was, out of all of them, although the other episodes kind of like horrified me and like made me, unsettled me, this was the one that was like edge of seat viewing, where you're like, oh, what's gonna happen, what's gonna happen? It made me feel like I was watching a classic like thriller horror movie as a kid, one that I clearly shouldn't have been watching because it damaged my mind and continues to impact my life.
So why are you watching Black Mirror at all? It's okay. It's okay.
But Metalhead is good.
Metalhead is good. And finally, we have Black Museum. So this is like the White Christmas episode. It is 3 stories in one episode. It's set in a US roadside attraction. It is a museum filled with high-tech criminal items, let's say.
Yeah.
What did
it's
you
like
call it?
a Ripley's Believe It or Not for tech. Bad tech, evil tech.
Evil tech and Black Museum.
It's it's perhaps the hardest one to watch because like you said, 3 stories in one. Each of those stories, it packs a punch. And each of those takes an idea in technology and explores it very quickly and takes it to the furthest extreme, and how, again, like how it can impact your life, potentially ruin it and potentially help it. And it does that 3 times. And it also wraps it all together in an interesting way.
Yeah. So obviously, I mean, Black Mirror, you can watch them, everything standalone, you can watch it in any order. What I would say, save Black Museum for last.
And make it the last thing you do on your day. Like if you watch this in the morning, same with Crocodile, same with all of them. Do not watch these at the start of your day. There's not gonna be any bants for the rest of your day. Those episodes, this one specifically, once you've watched this episode, you're done, go to sleep. Wake up tomorrow and hope that your life improves.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're a big Black Mirror fan, there is a lot here in this episode for you. I mean, there was a point during the first storyline where honestly, I had to stop watching for maybe a couple of minutes because it's near the line.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
Right near the end, and this is one of the few times I can admit I've done this, something happens and my brain clicks and I went, oh my God. And it all fell into place, and it was both the worst and best thing. Best thing because I thought, I'm so smart. And the worst thing was like, I have to watch this happen now. And it's just excellent. But like we said, save it to last. It is the one you want to watch after you've seen all the others.
So that was our spoiler-free review of Black Mirror Season 4. It's incredible. It's so good.
Very good.
Make sure you subscribe to GameSpot Universe because when everything drops on Netflix, we are going to be covering it so much because we have Easter eggs. We've got things you missed. We have theories.
There's a lot of theories.
There's a lot of theories that we have. Yeah. We have a very messy Google document at the moment.
And breakdowns, obviously.
And breakdowns.
Detailed.
Of every single episode, so make sure you join us then. Don't forget we're on Twitter.
I'm at Tamoor H.
And I'm at Lucy James Games. See you then.
Stay away from technology. It's wrong-uns.